And we're back here on the Fox 5 Live Zone. So let's talk about Love. Yes, love. But sometimes love doesn't work out. And if you're married, perhaps, well, you need to get a divorce. Now you need a divorce coach. That's where I tell you my new friend comes into play. I'm referring to none other than Sarah Davison, joining us right here on the Fox 5 Live Zone. Sarah, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Oh, thank you so much for inviting me on, Guy. I'm really excited to be here.
And I have to ask, you are actually tapping in with us all the way from London, correct?
I am indeed. Yes, that's where I am in London today, yeah.
We truly appreciate you making your way right here to Washington, D.C. via Zoom. And so with regard to divorce, and I got to tell you, we have now embarked on the month, or shall I say springtime, as we call it. And with that being said, a lot of folks want to clean house. Not only, let's say, physically cleaning their house, but emotionally as well. How would one go about to do that, especially if they're just coming out of a divorce?
Well, absolutely. I think coming out of divorce is actually known as one of the most traumatic life experiences we go through, second only to death of a loved one. So it's important not to underestimate just how tough it can be. So first of all, self-care is going to be really important, and not putting too much on yourself, and making sure that you are looking after yourself as well. So getting outside and getting some regular exercise, even if it's just a walk around the block, having some time outside and looking up at the sky and deep breaths is going to help keep you calm when things get a little bit tricky. But detoxing your home is a big thing too. And I think a lot of people stay stuck after a breakup. But to help you power through and move forward, there's lots of things you can do around the home to actually change how you feel. So have a look around and see if there's anything that triggers negative emotions. It could be something simple like obviously a photograph, or it could be even the mug you have your coffee in the morning. I know one of my clients recently said to me that she was getting very upset first thing in the morning. And when we worked it back, we figured out that it's because she always drinks her coffee from a mug that they bought on a trip away together. So that actually subconsciously was reminding her of her ex, even though she didn't realize that at the time. So actually looking around and taking away anything that causes negative emotions and putting in things that actually make you happy. So it might be that you've got a favorite color and you want to put some cushions around that have that color on it, or if you're going to swap out some photos, replace them with photos that actually make you feel good when you look at them. So again, detoxing, taking your ex's stuff out of your home, boxing it up. You don't need to destroy it. You can just box it up. And if you're on good terms, obviously give it back to them. If they don't want it, then obviously you can give it to charity or just throw it away, but get it out of your house. Declutter and get your ex out of your home.
I love that you made mention of that. Quite honestly, we had a conversation off air about that yesterday right here in between during a break. And it's just so funny to hear what several people said they would do or they have done once they got divorced. You made mention of perhaps boxing it up. What about selling those items? Is it okay to do that, to say, you know what, I don't need this anymore. This was a memory that she and I created. I could now sell it and financially benefit from it as well?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great idea, guys, especially because divorce can be very expensive. So anything you can sell. I think some of the big items that you could sell afterwards could be maybe your wedding ring. Again, you could sell that, or an engagement ring, or a wedding dress. So again, think about those things, because you can actually do quite well on secondhand wedding dress sites. They do go quite well. But also, just anything there is, like clothes. Why not? Why not sell and make a little bit of money back that covers some of the expenses you have because you got divorced? It's a great idea. Absolutely recommend it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Sarah, when you walk into my apartment, I got to tell you, it's pristine. You open up the closet, oh my gosh, it's a mess. I'm a mess on the inside with regard to the closet. I know that you have several steps that you really want to touch on with regard to the emotional closet. And that's an issue that so many people have a hard time really, really getting through.
Yeah, and it's true. We do spend a lot of time doing the easy, obvious things around the house, but the harder things are going to be the emotions. And actually, it's interesting because we can actually control how we feel. Although a lot of us don't know that. We actually have the remote control to our brain, but we don't often know how to use it. So our choice comes when we can decide, do we want to feel sad or upset, or any of those negative emotions that keep us stuck? Or do we want to take our power back and start to dial down those emotions? And there's different steps you can take to actually go towards that, as you said. So when you're looking at those negative emotions, first of all, you need to identify which is the negative emotion that you want to dial down the most, which is the one that causes you the most upset or keeps you stuck the most. And when you've understood which one that is, then it's time to start to think about how you can change that scenario. First of all, by looking at what time of day it's worse. Now, for some people, it's first thing in the morning when you wake up and suddenly that tsunami of emotions hits you that you remember what's going on in your life. That could be something that's difficult. Or for others, it may be later on at night or at the weekends when they're on their own. So identify that time that where you find you spend more time in that negative emotion and change your routine. So maybe instead of waking up to just a beeping noise off your alarm clock, change it for some upbeat, empowering music. Or maybe in the evening when you would just sit at home, force yourself to go out, maybe connect with a friend that makes you smile. So it's about looking at when you find those times the worst and changing them up. And then also creating something in the future that you can work towards that will give you your sparkle back. Now, a lot of people stay stuck. And that's normal, by the way. It's really normal. So don't worry if you are feeling that. But if you are feeling stuck, think about the future. What does that look like for you? Because most people stay stuck because they don't know what the future holds. And it's very difficult to move towards something you don't know what it is. So we wouldn't leave our homes in the morning, would we, without knowing where we were going? Because even if we got there, we wouldn't know we were there. So the idea here is to identify, is it a blank canvas, the future for you, or is it a black hole? Usually it's one of the two. And then when you know which one it is, either for the canvas, we need to throw as much color on that as possible, or the black hole, we need to shine a light into that and light it up. And what I mean by that is create stepping stones to move you towards that future. So you have an idea of what it's like and bring it to life for you. So you can see that you can start moving, and that creates momentum, which actually starts to really dial down those negative emotions that you might be stuffing down and hiding away. But actually now you can start to move forward and shift your focus onto a brighter future that you know is going to make you happier. And finding someone to support you along that journey, whether it's a really good friend or a family member, pick them carefully, because sometimes friends can pour fuel on the fire and make things slightly worse. One of my clients had her best friend over to help clear out the house and do the detox exercise that I was talking about earlier. And they ended up chopping up all the clothes instead of bagging them up and just destroying them, wow, which did have some pretty awful consequences for her. So again, pick the friends around you, because some friends are really emotionally invested in your breakup, and maybe not for the better. So pick the friends that are going to give you the constructive advice and get them to support you on your journey to shift your focus towards a brighter future rather than what went wrong and feeling those negative emotions. So you can shift them, you can choose, and you can decide, which is really the key to taking your power back and redesigning your future just the way that you want it. Yeah.
So never in a million years that I think I would have a conversation about divorce and end up smiling. And that's definitely the case while chatting with you. Once again, Sarah Davidson, divorce coach, joining us all the way from London right here on the Fox 5 Live Zone. Thank you so much for taking time out of your, I guess, evening there and joining us.
Yes, it is. Thank you, Guy.
All right, guys.